Racing in the Rain, Chapter 14. When Denny went away the following week, we went to Eve's parents' house so they could take care of us. Eve's hand was bandaged up, which indicated to me that the cut was worse than she had let on, but it didn't slow her down much. Maxwell and Trish, the twins, lived in a very fancy house on a large parcel of wooden land on Mercer Island. It had an amazing view of Lake Washington and Seattle, and for having such a beautiful place to live, they were among the most unhappy people I've ever met. Nothing was good enough for them. They were always complaining about how things could be better. When we arrived, they started in about Denny right away. He doesn't spend enough time with Zoe. He's neglecting Eve. His dog needs a bath. Like my cleanliness had anything to do with it. What are you going to do? Maxwell asked Eve. They were standing around in the kitchen while Trish cooked dinner, making something that Zoe would inevitably hate. It was a warm spring evening, so the twins were wearing polo shirts with their slacks. Maxwell and Trish were drinking Manhattan cocktails with cherries, Eve a glass of wine. I'm going to get in shape, Eve said. I feel fat. I mean about Denny, Maxwell said. What do I need to do about Denny? Eve asked. Something. What is he contributing to your family? Said Trish. You make all the money. He's my husband and he's Zoe's father and I love him, replied Eve. What else does he need to contribute to our family? Maxwell snorted and slapped the counter. I flinched. You're scaring the dog, Trish pointed out. She rarely called me by name. I'm just frustrated, Maxwell said. I want the best for my girls. Whenever you come to stay here, it's because he's gone racing. It's not good for you. This season is really important for his career, Eve said, trying to remain steadfast. I wish I were able to be more involved, but I'm doing the best I can, and he appreciates that. What I don't need is you going after me for it. I'm sorry, Maxwell said, holding up his hands in surrender. I'm sorry, I just want what's best for you. I know, Daddy, Eve said, and she leaned forward and kissed his cheek. I want what's best for me, too. She took her wine outside into the backyard, and I lingered. Maxwell opened the refrigerator and retrieved a jar of the hot peppers he liked to eat. He opened the jar and squeezed his fingers inside, took one, and crunched into it. The dog is watching you, Trish said after a moment. Maybe he wants a pepper. Maxwell's expression changed. Want a treat, boy? He asked, holding out a hot pepper. That's why I had been watching him. I was watching him to better understand the meaning of his words. Still, I was hungry, so I sniffed at the pepper. They're good, he prompted. Imported from Italy. I took the pepper from him and immediately felt a prickly sensation on my tongue. I bit down and a burning liquid filled my mouth. I quickly swallowed and thought I was done with the comfort. I thought surely the acid in my stomach would cancel out the acid of the pepper. But that's when the pain really began. My throat felt as if it had been scraped raw. My stomach churned. I immediately left the room and the house, outside the back door, and lapped at my bowl of water, but it did little to help. I made my way to a nearby shrub and lay down in its shade and rested until the burning went away. That night, Trish and Maxwell took me out, as Zoe and Eve had long been asleep. They stood at the back porch and repeated their silly saying, "Get busy, boy, get busy." Still feeling somewhat queasy, I ventured away from the house farther than I usually did, crouched in my stance and went. After I did my business, I saw that it was loose and watery. When I sniffed at it, it was unusually foul-smelling. I knew I was safe and that the ordeal had passed. Still, since that time, I have never accepted food from someone I didn't fully trust. Next time, Chapter 15. Bye.